Can you forward me the?
So again, once again, welcome and thank you for joining me here tonight for Improve Your Relationship Without Saying a Word. Probably a little inviting kind of title to throw out there to all of you. So I'm guessing perhaps you've had the experience of, when talking doesn't seem to make it any better, or that the words just seem to get in the way. Or this one probably applies more to the women in the group, but that he just doesn't want to talk about it. Well, if you've had any of those experiences, you're in the right place tonight, because we are going to emphasize this point that you can actually do things to improve your relationship without saying a word. Now, as a marriage therapist who makes his living teaching people how to communicate, it's a little bit of professional suicide to be doing this. Nevertheless, I think it's going to really make a good difference for us, because really the key to a healthy relationship is not communication, but connection. And there's many ways to connect, our words just being one of those ways. And that by working on yourself, you can strengthen the connection in your relationship. Right? By working on yourself, you can strengthen that relationship in your connection. And so there's things we can do, again, without saying a word, without communicating, that'll make a big difference. Things we do on our own and things we can do together, as the exercise in a little while will show. The impetus for this Zoominar tonight comes from a book called How to Improve Your Marriage Without Talking About It. It's by Pat Love and Stephen Stosny, and it's a really great read. Again, How to Improve Your Marriage Without Talking About It. And some of the ideas that you'll hear about tonight come from this, but many of them don't, and the exercise we do is not in the book, but I will encourage it. So our plan for tonight, threefold. Going to lay out a few points, going to lead you through an exercise to help practice the points, and then open up for some discussion. The 3 points are going to be 3 core qualities to help you bring out your best self, whether it's just as an individual or in relationship. Then the exercise will be a guided meditation to lead you through together to help build those qualities. And for those of you who are here on your own, you will do this as just an individual meditation, so it can work either way. And then again, we can open up for discussion. And again, feel free at any point in time to put questions you have in the chat, and we'll come back to those later. So let's start with that first part, talking about those 3 core qualities of the self. Well, first, when we're talking about the self, or the core self, what does that mean? By core self, I'm really referring to that most authentic part of ourself. It's that place from which we strive to act and think and feel and speak, although we often will fall short in being able to do that. It's that place where we are our most authentic self. In Christian terms, we might think of this place as the Imago Dei. It is that core part of our human, just the human self, where we are created in the image and likeness of God. And we want to bring that part forth. You've had the experience of core self if you've been in the zone or you're in the flow, things are going right. You're having this great day at work, you're having a great day with your partner. Again, things are flowing. That's when you're in core self. And so our work so often is to try and come from that place. Even though life happens and we have all these other things we do to survive and get along and get by. And those aren't bad things. Those are necessarily parts of us. But so much of our work is inviting those to step back so we can come from core self. So there's many qualities of that core self. But I want to give you 3 that I think are really important that apply to us this evening. So the 3 are going to be calm, curious, and compassionate. Calm, curious, and compassionate. So the first one, calm. So that physiological experience of being calm, what's going on in the body when we are calm? Right? Our heart rate goes down. Our breath rate slows. our muscles tend to soften, loosen a little bit. Our body temperature modulates. We have this sense of like space opening up inside of us. Right? We're really letting go. When we are calm, it activates the parasympathetic system. That's the system which is marked by rest and digest, in contrast to the fight or flight of the sympathetic nervous system. So rest and digest traditionally means that the body is at rest and the digestive system now can work to digest food. But I'd also interpret it to mean we are also in a place where we can digest the communication, the words that our partner is speaking to us. We're able to digest what's coming into us from the outside world. It quiets that region of the brain, that reactive part of the brain that goes into fight or flight, while activating the executive parts of our brain, the parts that are wired for connection. Now, when body and mind are calm, it opens up the doorway to the soul. So when you gaze lovingly into the eyes of your puppy, you experience calm. And truth be told, it actually does build empathy, and it helps release oxytocin in the body, which is that empathy chemical, if you will. It's the attachment chemical. That can happen. In a little while, you're going to gaze into one another's eyes, and hopefully that can you can experience that same sense of calm as you are doing that. In contemplative prayer, we can experience that sense of calm, and it's that time when God is lovingly gazing upon us as well. So calm is really where we want to start from, because if we lack it, again, we're going to be more in that fight or flight place. And when we're there, the brain wants certainty. It's not good with unknowns. It's not good with ambiguity. It wants certainty. And so what's it going to do? It's going to jump to conclusions to create certainty. We'll make assumptions. We create stories in our head. Now, in the moment, we don't think we're doing that. Right? In the moment, we're usually pretty self-righteous around it. But what's really going on is we're jumping to conclusions, we're creating those stories, and we're doing it for our own survival. Because protection doesn't necessarily want connection. Right? Protection doesn't necessarily want connection. It just wants safety. And what that's going to do is block the second C I'm going to talk about, which is curiosity. Right? Now, there's the old expression that curiosity killed the cat. And that may be true, but it can really save your relationship. Curiosity is that radical openness. It is wonder, right? When we can look upon each other with wonder and curiosity. This can open the door for perspective taking and understanding, validation. It's the opposite of that judgment, which can block connection. Too often when we're coming from that place, our questioning isn't coming from a place of curiosity, but it sounds more like a cross-examination, right? It's an interrogation, right? I'm asking you a question, but I already got the answer in my own head. So pretty much doesn't matter what you say because I've already concluded what the answer is, right? That's what we're doing there. And it can be really tough and discouraging to be on the other end of that one, right? So you were home late again. Why were you home late again last night? Right? You get hit with that one. Not really many good answers you can come back with on that one, right? Well, I was driving home, and as I was driving home, believe it or not, right in front of me was this accident. And there was an accident, I got out of the car. And believe it or not, it was Pope Francis. And he was injured, and I had to give him CPR while we waited for the paramedics to come. Right? Well, you could have texted.
You mean Oofy?
Right. So again.
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't move it.
Just mute that one there. So again, it can be very discouraging to be on the opposite end of that interrogation that's coming at you. So to be curious, you have to contain that reactivity. You have to suspend your judgment. It's that belief that there's always more than meets the eye. And you have to do it genuinely. This is why the calm part's important. Right? I can say, okay, I'm going to listen now. Okay, why were you home late last night? Right? But my body language my brain is saying, I'm not going to buy it. So we have to be genuine, right? And this can be challenging to come from that place of just genuine curiosity. It's going to allow you to listen. It's going to allow you to stay present. It's going to allow you to take somebody in, whether they are a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter. You've got 3 months of listening to this. Coming from places of calm and curiosity is going to be good for your mental health in doing this. It's going to be good for your blood pressure as well. So there's a lot of good steps we can do and teach to bring this into dialogue. And I know over the years, I've been fortunate enough to see many of your familiar faces in marriage preparation and in the Start Right, Stay Connected workshop at St. Monica, where we can teach those tools in our verbal communication. And while I'm on the subject, I'll just happen to mention that I've got one of those workshops coming up September 12th. So if you are interested, I'm sure a few of you here might give some thumbs up who've been on that to encourage some other folks to come on and join me on that. Thank you so much for those thumbs up. But tonight, again, we're going to focus on doing this without saying a word, because I really want you to realize the impact that your own perspective that you bring, your own curiosity, how you approach it, can really be powerful. To remind you that the only person you can really change is yourself. Yet when you do that, you can really bring change to your relationship. Now, number 3. So if curiosity really comes from the mind, kind of wondering, I'm asking those questions, really want to understand, then compassion is going to come from the heart. Compassion, from the Latin, cum pate, to suffer with. With compassion, we are there with the person, giving them that felt sense of being felt. We are there, we are present with them. In the book I referenced, Love and Stasny say that compassion is the most important of all the attachment emotions. They say it's even more important than love. Now, why do they say this? Because compassion allows you to see the individuality, the depth, and the vulnerability of this other person. If we have love, but we don't have the compassion, we can fall victim to sort of merging, where we start to get frustrated when you don't think and feel and do the way I want you to, or the way I do, right? We don't like that difference. A lot of times we can go into a relationship, and just always assuming that we're going to be on par because we're in love and things are wonderful. But we know that that's just not the case. And so to have that compassion for the difference of our partner is so, so important. Compassion really invites you to go beyond the limitations of your own experience. To have compassion, we do have to be able to connect with our own woundedness, our own struggle, our own brokenness, and then reach beyond it to try and understand that of our partner, whose challenges and brokenness are going to be different than our own. And so it might challenge us in some ways to reach out and be present with them. One of the biggest challenges that they talk about in that book is this central shame-fear dynamic that exists in couple relationships. So we just kind of break that down a little bit, what they mean by that. They say that women need to understand a man's vulnerability to shame and his intense avoidance of it. Men are driven by their need to be competent, to do a good job. They want to protect. They want to provide. And they often do this by trying to fix things. Even when you're feeling anxious and you don't want them to fix anything, that's what they're doing. They're trying to stave off that sense of shame. It can feel like a personal failure for a man to see his partner suffer. Now, men need to understand a woman's vulnerability to fear they talk about, be it fear of abandonment, rejection, isolation, or harm, and also her intense avoidance of it. right? They want to feel safe and secure in knowing that they matter to you. They want to feel that. They really want to feel that and get that. And so here's the interplay of that dynamic that they talk about. I'm going to quote this part. They say, if you're a woman and you're feeling resentful, angry, anxious, or afraid, and your partner's not helping you, he's trying to avoid feeling shame. Your anxiety equals his sense of inadequacy or shame or failure. Your anxiety is the most reliable signal of his sense of shame. Now, if you're a man and you're feeling resentful, angry, sulky, or withdrawn, and your partner's not helping, she's feeling anxious. Your irritation equals her fear. Your irritation is your most reliable signal of her fear of isolation or deprivation. So if you want your partner to feel compassion for you, you must feel compassion for him or her. If you want him to understand your fear and anxiety, you have to understand his shame. And if you want her to understand your dread or failure, you must understand her anxiety and fear about harm, isolation, and deprivation. So as you hear that, you can just imagine that cycle, the interplay that can happen there, and how we can get stuck in that one, right? Especially if we're back there waiting for you to change, right? I'm sitting there waiting for you to change. You're waiting for me to change. We're going to get stuck in that. So we're going to do an exercise in a moment to really not only help you experience this, but get the sense that you can actually start creating that change before you ever say a word to your partner, just by how you cultivate these muscles, if you will, of bringing calm and curiosity and compassion into your relationship. So to improve your relationship without saying a word, you're gonna have to just do that. So for this next exercise, whether this is going to be easy or hard for you, I'm going to invite you to not say a word. I am going to invite you, all who are couples, to please turn and face each other. And again, I want you to turn your whole body towards each other, not just sitting and straining your neck. But turn your whole body towards each other. You won't necessarily need to watch me for this part because you're going to be gazing at one another or having your eyes closed, depending on which part of the exercise we're in. For those who are here as individuals, again, you can use this as an individual guided meditation. So it will just apply to you as well. So take a moment to settle in. And as you do, let me invite you to just close your eyes as we begin. And just know we're going to be taking the next 10 to 15 minutes of just having calm connection with one another. And so again, let me just invite you to close your eyes and connect in with your breath. Inviting each breath a little more deeply down into your belly. I'll invite you to do nasal breathing as much as you can, at least on the inhale. On the exhale, feel free to use the nasal breathing or through the mouth. And as you stay with your breath, the more you want to invite a sense of calm, the more you want to lengthen the exhale. So you might want to count. I'm going to inhale for 4, maybe exhale for 6 or 7. So the more calm you want, the more you lengthen the exhale. But know that your pace is your own. There is no right or wrong. Connect inward. Don't chase any sensation or chase any feeling. Just breathe. And as you stay with your breath, just Just want to invite that calm, relaxed sensation throughout your body, starting up in your face and head. Relax the muscles in your face and head, your shoulders and neck, your biceps, forearms, hands, and fingers. Your chest and your belly. Just relax all the muscles. Down into your pelvis, your glutes, your thighs, all the way down your calves, ankles, and feet to the tips of your toes. So stay with your breath, inviting that sense of relaxation in. And again, keeping your eyes closed, just bring your partner into your awareness right now. And as you stay with your breath, bring your positive intention to connect with your partner into your focus. Prepare yourself, because in a few moments, I'll be inviting you to open your eyes and gaze into your partner's eyes, first in quiet, then guided to focus on some specific areas to bring your curiosity and compassion in service of connection. And just as you prepare yourself, know that as you gaze into your partner's eyes, it may feel a little vulnerable, and that's okay. If you feel some discomfort, that's okay. You might want to look away or laugh. You might want to say something to your partner or even blame him or her for distracting you. Whatever happens, just gently invite yourself back into your quiet gaze. If you need to close your eyes for a moment or look away for a moment, that's okay. If your partner needs to do that, that's okay. Just gently welcome him or her back with that gaze and smile. Just do your best and remember to try not to say a word. So take another good deep breath in, and when you feel ready, open your eyes and gently gaze over into your partner's eyes. And just take this first moment of nice, quiet connection. Just gazing and breathing. Gaze and breathe. That's it. Gaze, breathe. Now, as you stay with your breath, bring one quality that you really admire and value about your partner into your awareness. Bring that quality into your awareness and let it move you, let it touch you. If it softens your expression or brings a smile to your face, that's just fine. Breathe it in. Notice how it impacts you. Notice the positive feelings it engenders, and breathe. Convey your appreciation for that quality right now through your gaze and facial expression. Take a good breath. And now invite one physical attribute about your partner that you value, that you find attractive. Just bring that into your awareness right now. Noticing how it impacts you, the positive feelings it engenders. Breathe in that attribute that you really appreciate and value. Convey that. Convey your appreciation for that quality right now through your gaze and through your facial expression. And now bring a behavior done recently by your partner that you appreciate. Bring that into your awareness. Some action, some behavior, something they did. And notice how it impacts you. Notice the positive feelings that it engenders. And breathe. Convey your appreciation for that quality through your gaze and soft facial expression. Connect back with your breath, breathing in all of that appreciation, the quality, the physical attribute, the behavior. Soak it in and breathe. As you stay with your breath, we're now going to shift to bringing compassion for our partner and receiving our partner. If you wish right now, you can close your eyes for a moment just to reconnect with your body and with your breath. And first, let's just sort of warm up that muscle of compassion by inviting some compassion for our world. With COVID, economic struggles, racial tension, the election, we live in a world in need of compassion. Invite this in, breathe this in, and breathe out your compassion to our world. Having connected with that compassion, open your eyes and again reconnect through your gaze with your partner and breathe. So now we're going to focus on compassion, and we're going to start by focusing on the women. So women, for this part, I want you to focus on yourself, even as you're gazing over to your partner. And men, I want you to be focusing on her. So invite a struggle or frustration that you are experiencing right now into your mind. So women, it is one that you are experiencing. Men, imagine one that she may be experiencing right now in her life. It could be about the relationship. It could be about something else. It doesn't matter. And don't worry that the two topics may be different. That doesn't matter at all for this exercise. Right now, just simply take a moment to focus on that frustration that is there. And as you stay with your breath, see if you can connect with the softer feelings that may be just under the surface from that frustration. Be it a sadness, a disappointment, or a worry. There's always a softer, vulnerable feeling beneath a surface frustration, even at first if we don't see it. Connect with that feeling. Connect with any fears that accompany it. What is that fear? Now imagine that experience that fear being felt as a young girl. Bring the image of that young girl into your mind's eye. Be with her as you offer her compassion. In this moment, women, receive that compassion from your partner right now. Let his compassion build those feelings of safety and connection. Remain in this space for a brief moment of quiet, breathing in the compassion and connection. Take a good deep breath, as now we will shift our focus and we'll focus on the men. So men, I want you to focus on yourself. Women, focus on him. Invite a struggle or frustration being experienced right now into mind. So men, it's one that you are experiencing. Woman, it's one that you imagine he may be experiencing right now. And don't worry that those may be different. Just focus on what that frustration or struggle is that is there right now. See if you can connect with the softer feelings that may be under the surface, be it sadness, disappointment, worry. Again, there is always a softer, more vulnerable feeling beneath the surface, even when we don't see it. Connect with that feeling now. Connect with the shameful aspects that may accompany it. What is that shame? Imagine that shame being felt as a young boy. Bring the image of that young boy into your mind's eye. Be with him as you offer him compassion. Men, let yourself receive that compassion from your partner. Let her compassion build feelings of worthiness and connection. Stay in this space for a brief moment of quiet, breathing in the compassion and connection. Take one more good breath there together, and then close your eyes and just take a few breaths to reconnect back in with your own body, allowing the feelings from this exercise to settle in. The appreciation, the compassion, the connection. As you breathe, invite the feelings of love you have for this person into your awareness. Connect with those feelings of love and breathe. Take another good breath and open your eyes, and staying in the silence, stand and face one another. As we're preparing for the closing piece. So just stand, face one another. And what I'm going to invite you to do is take some good breaths. And on the inhale, I'm going to invite you just to raise your hands up over your head, straight up over your head, as I'm doing on the inhale. And then exhale, release, and come down. And let's do that one again. Inhale all the way up. Exhale down. Just letting your body loosen up a little bit. Now this time, inhale all the way up. And inch all the way together, closer together to where your bodies are touching. And on the exhale, let your arms go forward and around each other and engage in a nice big hug. And you're going to do that for 1 minute. And I've got the timer. So you just stay there and bask in that for 1 moment. Again, just stay in the silence and take in the embrace. So take one more good deep breath there together, and you can slowly pull away. That's it. And you can feel free to sit back down. Great job with that. Marvelous watching all of you connect throughout that exercise. I want to thank you all for participating in that exercise and for being here this evening. And just as we're going forward, just want to invite you to be calm, curious, and compassionate as you go forward.